It was just supposed to be another routine patrol. The sun was setting behind the pine-covered hills of Millersfield, casting a burnt orange hue across the quiet town. Officer Dana Brooks, a seasoned cop with 15 years of service under her belt, leaned her arm out the window of the patrol cruiser, her other hand resting casually on the gearshift. In the back seat, Max, her loyal K9 partner, was alert as ever, ears perked, eyes sharp, ready for anything. But neither of them could have expected what they were about to uncover that evening. They were cruising through the old industrial district, a forgotten part of town riddled with crumbling warehouses and graffiti-stained buildings. Most of the area had been abandoned years ago after the textile factories shut down, but the department still did regular sweeps. Squatters, stolen vehicles, the occasional drug drop. It wasn't exactly a high-crime zone, but it wasn't safe either. As they turned the corner near 8th and Crossline, Max suddenly stiffened. Dana noticed it immediately. "What is it, boy?" she asked, her voice sharpening. Max let out a low growl and began whining, pawing at the back window. That was unusual. Very unusual. Max was one of the most disciplined K9s in the state. He didn't react unless he was sure. Following his gaze, Dana spotted it, a rusted-out sedan tucked awkwardly behind a dumpster. The back window was cracked open just a bit, and the car looked like it had been sitting there for weeks. Dana parked the cruiser and got out slowly, hand on her holster. "Let's check it out." As soon as she opened the back door, Max jumped out and bolted toward the car. "Max! Heel!" she shouted, but he didn't listen. That's when she heard it. A faint sound, almost like a cry. A whimper. Not Max's. She drew her weapon instinctively and moved toward the vehicle, her heart thudding in her chest. Max had already jumped through the half-open window, wedging his muscular frame inside. Then there was silence. "Max!" Dana shouted again, rushing up to the car. When she reached the driver's side, she saw him. Max was sitting perfectly still in the passenger seat, eyes locked on something in the back. Dana opened the door and carefully peered in. What she saw made her knees buckle. Curled up in the back seat, surrounded by old fast food wrappers, empty soda bottles, and torn blankets, was a little girl. No older than 5. Pale. Thin. Shivering. Her eyes were wide and terrified, but her tiny hand was clutched tightly in Max's fur. "Jesus," Dana whispered, her voice cracking. The next few minutes were a blur of radio calls, sirens, and urgency. Paramedics arrived and whisked the girl away, but she refused to let go of Max. Every time someone tried to separate them, she burst into tears. In the end, Max rode in the ambulance with her, lying quietly as she pressed her face into his warm coat. At the hospital, the truth began to unravel. Her name was Lily. She had been missing for 4 days. Her mother, a single parent with no stable home, had left her with a friend who turned out to be anything but trustworthy. That friend had panicked when he realized the police were involved and abandoned Lily in the car before disappearing. In the heat of July, with no water, no food, and no one around, she might not have survived another night. But Max had found her. The news spread quickly. Local headlines ran the story, "Hero K9 saves missing girl." Social media lit up with pictures of Max lying next to Lily in her hospital bed, her small arms wrapped around his neck. People from all over the country sent in donations, toys, and letters of support. But the real story, the one that changed everything, was what happened after. Officer Dana wasn't the type to get emotional on the job. But something about this case stuck with her. Maybe it was Lily's silence, how she wouldn't speak to anyone, not even the doctors. Maybe it was how tightly she held onto Max, her only source of comfort. Or maybe it was something deeper. Dana had lost her own daughter years ago in a car accident, a wound that never fully healed. Max, too, seemed changed. He wasn't just her partner anymore. He became her protector. Every day, Dana and Max visited Lily in the hospital. She wouldn't talk much, but she began to smile. The doctors said Max had done more for her trauma recovery than weeks of therapy could have. His presence calmed her, grounded her. Eventually, Lily opened up. She began speaking in soft whispers, often while petting Max. She told Dana about the scary man, about the heat, about the darkness. But then she said something that broke Dana's heart. "I heard him bark, and I knew someone was coming for me." That's when Dana made a decision. When Lily was well enough to be released, she didn't send her back to social services. She applied for emergency foster custody. It wasn't easy. The system was a labyrinth of paperwork, inspections, and waiting periods. But Dana was relentless. She wasn't about to let Lily become another lost file in the system. Max seemed to understand, too. He became her shadow. At home, he slept beside her bed. At the station, he followed her everywhere. He wasn't just a police dog anymore. He was her guardian angel. There were challenges. Lily had nightmares, violent ones. She'd wake up screaming, crying for Max. There were times Dana didn't think she could handle it. She was just a cop, not a therapist, not a mother, not anymore. But Max never wavered. On the worst nights, he would climb into bed with Lily and lay his head on her chest until her breathing slowed. On the hard days, he would nudge her gently with his nose until she smiled again. They healed, together. Bit by bit, the house began to feel like a home. And Dana? She started to believe in second chances. 6 months later, the adoption was finalized. The judge, an old friend of Dana's, smiled as he stamped the papers. Lily stood proudly between Dana and Max, clutching a drawing she had made that morning. It showed 3 figures, a woman, a dog, and a little girl, all holding hands, or paws. That image made the rounds online, again sparking a flood of emotion and love from around the world. The story of the K9 who found a little girl in an abandoned car had become something more, a story of hope, resilience, and unconditional love. But for Dana, Max, and Lily, it wasn't a viral headline. It was just family. If this story touched your heart, let us know in the comments. What part moved you the most? Have you ever witnessed the bond between an animal and a child like this? Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next inspiring animal story. Here at Positive Tales, we believe in sharing the stories that remind us of the goodness in the world, and sometimes, that goodness comes on 4 legs with a wagging tail. Until next time, stay positive.